Most people who prefer being alone aren't actually in love with silence. They're exhausted by the version of themselves they have to become the moment other people walk in. And by the time this is over, you're going to understand something about yourself or someone you know that most people never stop to question. It's a Friday night, you're lying on the couch, the room is quiet, your phone lights up on the coffee table. Come out tonight. Everyone's going. You stare at it, not with dread, just with this low, familiar weight. And you actually consider it. You think maybe this time will feel different. Maybe you'll stay longer. Maybe your energy won't just disappear halfway through the night without any reason you can explain to anyone. And then you type, "not tonight," and the moment you send it, your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, you take a breath you didn't realize you were holding. That's not anxiety. That's not being antisocial. That's your nervous system exhaling. Maybe that's you. Or maybe you know someone exactly like this, someone who always seemed so relieved to leave. Think about the last time you were in a completely normal social situation. Not a bad one, just ordinary. A work lunch, a birthday dinner, an evening with people you genuinely like. Now think about how much of that time you were actually yourself, not softening your opinion so no one felt challenged, not laughing at something that wasn't funny, because silence would have made it awkward, not saying we should do this again soon, when part of you was already calculating how long until you could leave. And here's the part nobody names. You were running a second process the whole time, monitoring the room, adjusting your tone, deciding what to say before you said it, deciding what not to show. From the outside, you looked fine. Present, engaged, easy, performing fine is still a performance. Inside, you were working. And that work has a cost. People who prefer being alone aren't antisocial. Some of them are genuinely warm, funny, the kind of person who makes you feel heard. They don't dislike people, they dislike who they slowly become. In the middle of a crowd, the edited version, the managed version, the version that laughs on cue and exits gracefully, and never lets anyone see that it costs anything at all. And that distinction matters more than most people realize. Have you ever noticed that the people who seem the most socially easy are sometimes the ones who need the most time alone afterward? But the next part is the one nobody talks about. They say, "I'm fine, it's fun." They're thinking, how much longer before I can leave without it looking weird? They say, "Yeah, let's do this again." They feel the specific relief of a door closing behind them. They genuinely like the person they're talking to, and they're already mentally planning the silence they'll need afterward. That's not coldness. That's not a lack of connection. That's someone paying a much higher social tax than anyone in that room knew they were paying. Here's something most people never stop to actually think about. When these people come home and close the door, they're not sitting alone because they want nothing. They sit alone because alone is the only place where nothing is asking them to be different. No mood to manage, no one to reassure, no version of themselves to keep running. They stop editing, and for the first time all day, what they think and what they feel and what's actually on their face are the same thing. Solitude isn't emptiness, it's accuracy. So ask yourself this, what does it say about a social world if the only place someone can be completely honest about how they feel is when nobody's watching? And here's something that might make you a little uncomfortable, because this is where it splits into two completely different things, and most people never figure out which one they're actually living. There's a person who cancels plans on a Saturday, makes coffee, opens a book, puts something on they love, and genuinely feels full, like they gave themselves something they needed. And there's a person who cancels the same plans, lies in the same quiet room, and feels nothing in particular, not peaceful, just flat, like the walls moved a little closer and they're not entirely sure when that started happening. From the outside, both look identical. Both said no to the same invitation. Both spent the evening alone. But one of them is recharging and the other one is hiding. The question is, which one are you? And the uncomfortable answer is, most people don't actually know. Not for certain, because protective isolation doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel like fear, it feels like preference. It feels like, I just don't need people that much. It feels like, I'm actually better on my own. It feels like something you've always been. Until one day you realize, the last time you let someone actually close to you was a long time ago, and you don't remember exactly when that started. Maybe it was one period where you kept showing up for people, and nobody thought to check on you. One version of yourself you performed for so long, that going back to the real one just stopped feeling worth the effort. And so the door stayed closed, not out of anger, not even out of sadness, just out of habit. And you're not sure anymore if you chose solitude, or if somewhere along the way, the world just started feeling too costly to enter. Here's the truth that most videos on this topic won't tell you. Preferring to be alone isn't always about loving silence. Sometimes it's the result of years of walking into rooms and becoming someone slightly different each time. Slightly more careful, slightly more managed, slightly further from whatever version of yourself exists when nobody needs anything from you. And at some point, that exhaustion stopped feeling temporary. It became the answer. Not because they stopped wanting connection, but because solitude became the one place that never charged them anything just to exist. They didn't choose quiet, they chose not to perform anymore. And here's the part that makes this more complicated. Sometimes, the people who need connection the most become the best at avoiding it. Not because they don't want it, because wanting it and knowing how to let it in are two completely different things. There's something people who prefer being alone almost never say out loud, not "I need space," not "I'm an introvert." It's this: I'm actually really good with people, I just can't afford to be every single day, because social ability and social energy are not the same thing. You can be genuinely warm, the kind of person people feel comfortable around, and still be running on empty by 9 in the evening. Being good with people doesn't mean you have unlimited access to yourself. And the people who've figured that out are usually the ones who seem the most comfortable choosing a quiet night alone, not because they have nothing to give, because they've learned how much it actually costs. And when you think about it that way, does that actually sound like someone who's broken? Or does it sound like someone who's just more honest about what it takes? And maybe the people who can't stand to be alone for a weekend, who always need somewhere to go, someone to call, something happening in the background. Maybe they're not more social. Maybe they just haven't figured out yet how to sit with themselves without it feeling like something's missing. That Friday night, the message you didn't answer, the shoulders that dropped when you sent "not tonight," that wasn't you avoiding your life. That was you protecting something most people spend years not realizing they've already let go of. And if solitude feels safer than people right now, the real question is when that stopped being temporary. If something in this stayed with you, leave one word in the comments, the one that came up while you were watching.